So my name's Cynthia McMullen, and I'm an instructor at Alaska Institute of Oriental Medicine, Acupuncture, and Massage Therapy. And I'm going to talk about QiGong today and feeling the energy in the QiGong. Okay, and since this is kind of like the psychic fair, I can do a little bit more in that area. I just want to start by sharing a really interesting experience that I'm having right now. And one of the things that I've been looking at is nonlinear time. And it's something that I've noticed in the work that I do. People are starting to experience that. How many of you have heard of that? Or, yeah, it's kind of like a concept that's being brought out more in the areas of people who are looking at consciousness and what consciousness has to do with anything. And for example, nonlinear time is where something happens somewhere that is relevant to a different time. So, for example, several months ago, I was going to teach a workshop, or I was asked to teach a workshop, and my first response was, I don't have time to do this right now. There's so much work involved in this. I don't really have the time in my schedule to put the information together to do this workshop that I want to do. And so I wasn't going to do it. And I opened up a file drawer. And in that file drawer, I was looking through and I found this file of information that I put together more than 5 years ago. And it was exactly what I needed for this workshop now. And I never did anything with it then. And I completely forgot about it. So I got to teach the workshop. And I thanked myself 5 years ago for doing this now when I needed it. So that was, to me, that was nonlinear time. So right now, I teach a lot of online courses, and I have a guy, I get a lot of emails from the courses, and I don't always have time to respond to all of them. But I had one from a guy who I don't know from anywhere, and he asked a question, and there was something about the sincerity that was in his question that I said, I'm going to take the time to go ahead and answer this. So I just shot him a very brief reply, and I went on with my work. And when I work, I listen to things in the background. I put on podcasts, and I put on, YouTube things that I can just listen to while I'm doing some different work. And in doing that, I had a choice of 5 different things that were very interesting to me. And I chose one topic to listen to, and then that tangented, is that a word? It kept me going in different directions, and I kept on listening to this topic. So I got some really good information. It was health-related information that was relevant to a lot of the clinic work that I do. So this guy emails me back and says, thank you for answering my question. I've been dealing with this certain health issue. And I said, wow, that's exactly what I was just listening to. And so I had a couple of really good links that I could email back to him and give him on that. So I did. And then last night, I worked yesterday. Fridays is like a 12-hour day for me. So I worked, went home, and I rested my eyes on the couch for a little bit, and I had a dream. And the dream was very detailed. And it was information that was very relevant to me. And then the guy emailed me back a detailed account of what he was experiencing, and my dream that I had last night answered that. So it's like, but it's happening it's not in a linear order. It's happening out of order. And that's the thing with nonlinear time. So I want to put that out just because this is a group of people that actually might understand some of that concept. Who else can I tell that will go, oh yeah, no, you're not crazy, and that's really interesting. But I think if we look for things like that and we start to become aware of it, how much more will we see that? How much will we recognize, wow, that's going on in my life too? So with that, I also look at that as energy flow. And being in the energy flow, playing around with the energy. When we start to work with the energy of things, we start to play in this whole other realm, this whole other kind of dimension of things that's going on. So my talk is on QiGong. It's not going to be a talk, we're going to actually do it. And how many of you here have experienced feeling energy? Okay. How many of you might have experienced? I'm not really sure, but I might have. Maybe. So there's something that you're thinking, either you're thinking, wow, I've completely experienced this. It's awesome, it's amazing, or I might have, I'm not really sure. So either way, one of the things that practicing QiGong does is it enhances or refines our sensations of qi. And the more we do it, the more we refine it, the more we sense it, the more we feel it, the more we start to live in this other area that's invisible. It's kind of nebulous. It's very interesting. There's a lot of synchronicity or coincidence, or is it actually nonlinear time happening? Makes me wonder now. So with that, what I'd like to do is have us experience it just very easily, I think, and briefly right now. There's some QiGong that we can do, and it's going to involve some acupressure points. And let me back step for just a second and say, does everybody, do you know what QiGong is?
No.
No, yes, no. Okay. So QiGong is some very, very old exercises from Chinese medicine, Taoist philosophy. And it works with the mind and the breath moving together. And you go deep inside when you start, once you learn the movements, it's a mind-body exercise. So yoga is another one that most people are familiar with. QiGong is also a mind-body exercise. You go deep inside and you really experience you moving with your breath. And a lot of people, in practicing this more and more, you go inside and you start to experience yourself as being less and less physical and more as energy. And what does that mean? That's a very interesting concept to explain in a language that doesn't have words for that area. We use the word qi because English doesn't have a word for that substance. Many other languages do. Prana, mana, ki. But in English, what do we say? Life force energy. Okay. we have to describe it as something else. So with that, the experience of ourselves as more and more energy and less physical. And what happens when we become more and more energy and less physical? And I can say that in different ways. I might say we become more and more light, because light is energy also, and we become less and less physical. And with that, if the physical density has it carries a lot of heaviness, it carries a lot of weight, stress, problems, disease, and things on that line are held in what I would call the physical realm. But the more and more energy we become, the more and more we can see things from different perspectives and experience things from different perspectives also. Many of them will be higher, what I would call higher perspectives. And so it gives us a different meaning to something. And you'll see this sometimes when somebody heals from a disease, what we would call a disease in the physical aspect. And they say, wow, if I had never gone through that, or I learned from that, I'm gonna do an interview with somebody. I do a podcast show, and Bobby and Deborah back here both have been guests on my show. And I'm gonna be talking to somebody who is going through the grief from their child being killed, but their heart is open profoundly, and that's them living in that energetic aspect and not just staying stuck in the physical part. And it's profound when you're around that and you feel that and you sense that in some way. And when you do feel and sense that in some way, I would say, well, that's qi that you're feeling, that you're connecting to. It's a vibration, it's a frequency also. So, the acupressure points that we're going to use, there's 3 in the hand, and I'm going to start with what's called Hands of Light Pyramid QiGong. And in our hand, we have 3, there's a whole bunch of acupressure points all over, but there's 3 in the hand that we can activate that will help us focus the sensation of qi or energy. So if you bend your middle finger in, and where your middle finger touches, right there is 1. That is, the point is pericardium 8, if you want to know that. Pericardium 8 right here, and then there's 2 that are in the hand, right in the thenar eminence of our thumb, and then right across from that in the fleshy area under the pinky. And what we're going to do is, during the QiGong, we're going to be activating these points on each hand by pressing, just press your thumb in and rub it 8 times. So it's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to go over to the thumb and do that, and we're going to go over to the pinky side and do that. And that's going to, when we do that, acupressure, acupuncture, both of those things bring qi to an area, to that point that we're doing it at. And when the qi gathers there, our hands are very sensitive to it. It's probably the most sensitive on our body, the easiest to feel with. So we're going to have these 3 points right here that are activated, and then we're going to actually take and draw the qi up into a pyramid. And some people may sense that when you do it. You may be actually able to feel it. And we're going to be doing some movements, moving with our breath and experiencing the feeling in our hands. Okay, so, yes?
Can you show the 3 points again, please?
Uh-huh. There's, the first one is where you bend your middle finger and it touches, so it's kind of right, not quite in the middle, but almost in the middle. And the other 2 are in the fleshy areas under the thumb and under the pinky. And these are extra points. They're not exact meridian points there. Hey, come on in. So you can do this seated or standing, whichever is your preference, however you're more comfortable. And I'm going to have us start. You want to have your feet about shoulder width apart. Yeah, we can move stuff around and get a comfortable place there. Have your feet about shoulder width apart, and then relax your hips and your knees a little bit so your shoulders can move around. And we're going to start out by, I'm going to call this our dantian, the area below our navel. We're going to start with our hands kind of across from each other in that area. And with our hands there, let's just begin by focusing on our breath for a moment. So I'm going to have us take a few breaths that are deeper than we normally take. If you inhale, just nice and slow, count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the inhale, hold it for 4, 2, 3, 4, and exhale to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's do that 2 more times. Inhale nice and slow. Hold it, and exhale. 1 more time. We're going to go through some movements that are going to move with our breath. And with this, I want you to focus on the space between your hands. Some of you may already be sensing sensations in your hands just from standing and breathing like we did. And sometimes people describe it as a magnetic feeling, a pulsation. fuzzy, energetic, anything in that area. And we're going to look at the 8 movements of qi. And so take your hands and gather, raise up, expand, contract, flow in, flow out, descend, disperse, gather, raise up, expand, contract, flow in, flow out, descend, disperse, gather, raise up, expand, contract, flow in, flow out, descend, disperse. We're going to continue that a few more times. And this time when your hands come in front of your dantian, bring your hands up and we're going to activate those 3 acupoints. So where your middle finger touches in on one hand, just rub and press 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And under your thumb, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And under your pinky, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to do that to the opposite hand also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Under the thumb. And under the pinky. And then take your hand, your first hand, and just draw up as if energetically you could take light and you were forming a pyramid made out of this light that's so subtle. And do the same thing on the opposite side. And now we're going to hold our palms out in front of us, in front of our heart center. And our heart center emits light. It emits actual biophoton light. And with that, if you imagine that the light from our heart is energizing the pyramids that are in our hand, and we're going to carry these pyramids, and we're going to move it with our breath. And if you imagine that the energy of your heart is expanding, and as it expands, you allow it to push your hands apart. And it's not that you're moving your hands, it's that you're letting the energy of your heart move your hands. So you're letting the qi move your hands out and then bring them back in. But carry those pyramids on your hands. So you've got to move slow enough to hold them. And then just do that with your breath. So you're going to inhale, letting the light from your heart expand your hands out. And exhale, letting your hands come back together, holding those pyramids of light. And this time allow your hands to come to rest in front of your heart center. And if you just close your eyes and imagine the energy that's in your hands, I wonder what color qi you have in your hands. And if you intend for that to be the healing color that you need for something in your body right now, just notice the first thing that comes to mind in that. You have a lot of healing energy in your hands right now. So take that and use that anywhere on your body that needs it. If you have headaches, you can use it around your head. If you have any kind of organ issue going on, you can use it over an internal organ. You can use it over an area of pain, arthritis, your eyes, anything. Find an area of your body that needs healing energy and just move your hands in front of it. Let your body absorb that color, your color. And now gently bring your hands down. We're going to do a movement called drawing down the heavens to close. So if you inhale up and exhale down. And there you go. So, yeah, thank you. How did you feel that? What did you sense in that? Throw some words out.
Blue energy.
Blue, okay. What shade?
A very electric blue.
Okay.
Mine was yellow, and it was like almost like a safety jacket yellow.
Okay.
Mine is forest green.
Ooh, okay.
Mine is golden, brown, white, and black.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Now, one thing that's very interesting is the more that you refine the QiGong, another term for QiGong is meridian stretching therapy. And if you've ever had acupuncture or acupressure, or you're aware of it, all of the meridian lines that we use in acupuncture and in acupressure are with the same. It's the same in QiGong. So if you learn those, you can do QiGong in those movements and say, okay, when I'm moving my hand out like this, I'm actually stretching my lung meridian. I'm moving my large intestine meridian. I'm working my gallbladder meridian. And you really start to feel the energy. When you learn the meridians and you do QiGong like that and you get acupuncture or acupressure, you can very distinctly sense the qi moving around through those exact pathways in your body. And for the color that you saw, I can take that color now, and because of what you saw, it tells me a very good direction to look in to do body work or to do acupuncture. I know, oh, you saw that, so your body's asking for this in this specific area, and it can make a treatment really, really nice, specific for you. So that's kind of cool. If anybody, yeah.
When you're doing hypnosis, do you combine these as well, and does that offer guidance? And
very much. One of the things I do with hypnosis is I do a lot of energy work with that, combined with that, or body work, and I've done it quite a bit with acupuncture also. And so people will experience the sensation of feeling the energy very strongly. It's like that aspect of their mind can go right there to it and really bring it out, and people can have about intense experiences with it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and you can do it on yourself too. Deborah's got her hypnosis class starting, and you can learn to do it on yourself too, and then you can experience really cool things. So, any other questions at all? Yeah. So with this, you take it. You can use this in your hands. Do it on yourself. You can also use it on animals, babies. Try it on a plant even, but try it on something else and just see the effect that you get, and you'll see that you have something really fun to play with now. Yeah, and my time is here. Yeah, so, all right, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. She does have a table in the main room. So
are you staying at the table? I'm going to